Next on News 3 at 11, a man outing people that were part of the Charlottesville rally now facing threats. Hear what he has to say tonight.
Also tonight, we hear how World War II veterans are reacting to the violence of last weekend.
And coming up in the Complete Storm Team 3 forecast, today Savannah hit a hot heat index of 107, and tomorrow it is going to feel even hotter. We're tracking it all in just a minute.
WSAV News 3 at 11 starts now.
Now, the smart choice for news, weather, and sports for Georgia's coastal empire and the South Carolina Lowcountry. This is WSAV News 3 on your side at 11.
Good evening, I'm Tina Tyus-Shaw.
And I'm Ben Singer. Thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight, the conversation continues after protests turned deadly in Charlottesville this weekend. Much of the controversy stems from the intent of many of those protesters who identify as white nationalists and neo-Nazis.
News 3's Meredith Stutz spoke to two local World War II veterans who shared their thoughts on the state of the nation. She joins us now.
Tina, World War II ended more than 70 years ago, but for those veterans still on this side of history, the memories and passion for freedom can still be as fresh as the day they enlisted. When he looks back on his time in the service, Frank Perro is grateful.
It was an honor to serve.
At 90 years old, Perro retired after serving both in the Air Force and the Army in World War II. Now, after watching recent white supremacist and neo-Nazi rallies in Charlottesville, Perro is in disbelief.
And it really makes us think, well, what did we fight for? And then we have it in here in our own country.
He said it hurt seeing swastikas flying stateside.
We defeated Nazis. We didn't think we'd have it here in the country.
Betty Robart served in the Navy.
2 years and 10 months and 5 days.
After her time in World War II, she shares her disappointment with the rise of neo-Nazi protests, but isn't shaken.
Never bothered me. They had their ways, we had our ways, we won, and that was it.
Still, seeing the rally, she says, was hard to watch.
But to do things that they're doing, I think is horrible.
For Perro, it's a double-edged sword of freedom.
They got free speech, so there's not much you can do about it, except send the law in, let them take care of it.
Now they look to future generations.
Younger people now to take care of the old ones, like me.
And look heavenward for an end to violence.
There'll be no peace until the Prince of Peace comes.
Both agreed free speech is vital to the livelihood of the Constitution. However ironic its execution in the pages of history. Meredith Stutz, WSAV News 3.
Meredith, thank you. In a community report tonight, the Liberty County branch of the NAACP and the Liberty County Minority Chamber held a peace initiative today in Hinesville. That event was held in response to the deadly rally in Charlottesville. In a letter to community leaders, the NAACP said the prayer vigil was to let the people of Liberty County know they stand for peace and unity. That letter went on to say, while the event won't completely stop the nation's issues, it does show willingness to come together.
They did not ask for the tragedy or the folks who have came to their community to divide their community. They could easily get on a plane, on a train, or a bus and come to our community and try to divide us. But as long as we continue to have the conversation regularly that unity is important, and sympathizing with those who are less fortunate than us, we will stay strong in Liberty County.
The Liberty County NAACP is also holding a mass community meeting to discuss race, religion, and politics. That meeting will take place next Sunday, the 27th at 6 p.m. at Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church.
There are a number of local monuments that stand today. Supporters say the monuments serve to honor the thousands who fought and died for the Confederacy. So is there a way to balance history with the renewed call for some to erase what they refer to as painful symbols of the past? Built in 1875, this monument in Forsyth Park includes a large statue of a Confederate soldier. Dr. Stan Deaton, senior historian at the Georgia Historical Society, says for the most part this was erected for the purposes of mourning the dead. He says it was placed in the park because this is where young men would have trained before going off to war. He says the monument is not a square in a square or at a courthouse as some other area monuments that have come under fire.
I think since the Dylan Roof shooting 2 years ago, America has been more comfortable having a discussion with the prominence of Confederate symbols and statues in American society, both why they were put up originally, what they mean to us today. Do they continue to represent our values in the 21st century? And if they don't, what should we do with them?
Deaton did say from a historical perspective, monuments rarely include the entire story about why the Confederacy was formed. In addition to Savannah, there are monuments in Richmond Hill, Baxley, Fort Pulaski, Hinesville, and Statesboro. The city of Savannah says it would have no authority to remove the Forsyth Park monument.
A Raleigh man is gaining national attention for his controversial Twitter posts following the violence that broke out in Charlottesville. The man behind the Yes, You're Racist account is now receiving death threats for posting the names of people who attended this weekend's white nationalist rally. Social media can be a powerful tool when news happens. Raleigh resident Logan Smith found out just how powerful this weekend.
They're saying, they're gonna kill me. They're saying, insulting my wife, insulting my family.
They are the people he called out on Twitter, people participating in the rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. Smith, who is a communications director for Progress NC, is also the face behind the Twitter account called Yes, You're a Racist, something he started during the presidential campaign in 2012. When he saw the images coming out of Virginia, he wanted to do something about it.
First thing I did was just ask for people to, if they recognize any of these people, just send me their names and public profiles, and I'll make them famous.
His inbox filled up with names and hometowns of men in the pictures. Smith says he did careful research before matching names with pictures. Once he did, the photos went viral, getting passed all over the internet.
These are real people. A lot of times they're in our communities, and I think it's really important to put a spotlight on these people.
And now Smith has his own spotlight, one that is getting him death threats. He says that doesn't bother him, and he will continue to speak for what he believes is right.
A white former South Carolina state trooper who shot an unarmed black man during a traffic stop was sentenced to prison today. The trooper's dash cam caught the shooting on video. The video has since gone viral, so we should warn you, it is disturbing to watch. In 2014, Sean Grobert stopped LeVar Jones for a seatbelt violation. He opened fire when Jones reached into his vehicle for his license. Grobert said he fired because he feared for his life, but later pled guilty to assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature. Today, Grobert was sentenced to 5 years in prison.
Mr. Jones, I made the world's biggest mistake the day I stopped you, and I owe you the world's biggest apology. I've searched in vain for 3 years to find words to express to you how sorry I am, but they don't exist.
Back in 2015, Jones received a $285,000 settlement from the state.
It's the unimaginable, the worst thing that could happen in a school, a shooting or mass casualty situation. Now teachers at Broad River Elementary School have one more tool to help save lives. It is called Jacob's Kit, a small and simple yet vital critical care package, which includes bandages to help temporarily stop or slow bleeding. It's named for Jacob Hall, a 6-year-old South Carolina boy shot on his school playground.
As a teacher and as a mother and as a grandmother, that is my first instinct, is to help these babies. And if I've got something that I can tie around an arm or a leg to help stop their bleeding, then that has to be a good thing.
The Burton Fire Department created the kits for kids to help them. The Kiwanis Club did the donation as well. Broad River is a pilot school, but Burton Fire hopes to make this a countywide program in the next few years.
It is a special and exciting time for first-year college students, but it can be a tough transition as well. News 3's Danny Dykes caught up with students at Armstrong State University in Savannah, including one upperclassman with some advice for incoming freshmen.
They start with the same fears.
I was scared. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know if I was going to make friends.
And some parents struggle with letting go.
It was really hard for them to say goodbye. They started crying when they had to let me go.
But Lee says it's all a part of growing up.
Even though my parents are a phone call away, they can't really help me like I want them to anymore. I have to do this by myself.
Although he just started yesterday at Armstrong State University, this freshman is already on top of his coursework.
You learn exactly what you have to do and when it has to be done, But if you don't stay organized, then you will miss the deadlines and you have to stay responsible.
Which the new student director at UGA says is the most important part of college.
I want you to know that there are going to be some challenging times. There are going to be some times where you have to sacrifice going and spending social time with your friends to study and commit time to making a good grade in your courses.
But the best advice Rush can give to incoming freshmen is to find a balance.
Make sure that you find the good people who you can surround yourself with, and just be happy, and it's fun. You'll get through it.
And Lee wants his parents to know he's already having a good time.
And I've met a lot of new people so far, and I'm glad to make all these new friends.
Danny Dykes, WSAV News 3.
Next on News 3 at 11, we've been on your side helping you prepare yourself and your family for the solar eclipse. But what about your pets?
After the break tonight, we are taking a look at how your furry friends may react to the once-in-a-lifetime event.
And coming up in the Complete Storm Team 3 forecast, it is going to feel even hotter tomorrow. We're tracking the chance of storms too, as they could go up over the weekend. It's all after the break. You're watching WSAV News 3 on your side at 11.